Bullies tried to break the new teacher in 60 seconds. They were begging for forgiveness. The bell rang sharp at 8 a.m., echoing through the corridors of Hillside High. The students, loud and restless, trickled into room 27, the one known for its reputation, not for academics, but for chaos. It was the domain of the senior class, brash, spoiled, and untamed. They had driven out 3 teachers this semester alone. Today, a new name was on the board. Mr. Dalton. He was an unassuming man in his mid-30s, dressed plainly in a white shirt and navy slacks. His thin-rimmed glasses perched on his nose, and his face bore a calm, almost tired serenity, the kind you see in people who've lived through storms and come out quieter, stronger. The students smirked the moment he stepped in. "Another one," whispered Jake, the ringleader. "Let's make it a short stay." Laughter rippled through the class. Jake was infamous, charming to the eye, venomous in word. He stood 6 feet tall, with a swagger that screamed invincibility. Behind him, his entourage, Mark, Crystal, and the twins, Leo and Liana, readied themselves like performers before a play. Mr. Dalton placed a small leather satchel on the desk, took out a piece of chalk, and calmly wrote, "Silence isn't weakness. It's preparation." Without turning, he added, "I don't tolerate disrespect. You have one chance." The class burst into laughter. Mark mimicked his voice mockingly, while Crystal clicked her gum with exaggerated defiance. Jake stood and walked slowly to the front. "What are you going to do, sir?" he said, drawing out the last word. "Report me." Dalton looked up, finally meeting Jake's eyes. His stare was not angry, just still, and in that stillness was something unnerving. Jake faltered, just slightly. "What? You think this is your stage?" Dalton said, quietly. "But you're performing a play you've seen too many times. Do you know what real strength is, Jake?" Jake smirked. "Please, enlighten me." Dalton nodded. "All right." He walked to the center of the room. "Let's pretend I'm your enemy. You want to dominate me, embarrass me, prove something to these people? Fine. I give you permission. Right here, right now. Go ahead." The class stilled. A few eyes widened. Jake blinked. "You're serious?" "Dead serious." The room was thick with tension. Some students laughed nervously. Key stepped forward, unsure for the first time. He shoved Dalton's shoulder lightly, testing. Dalton didn't react. "Harder," he said simply. Jake pushed harder. Still no reaction. Then, in a voice like cold steel, Dalton said, "Now, let me show you what silence prepares." In one smooth motion, Mr. Dalton spun behind Jake, not violently, but with precise, fluid movement. He didn't strike. He didn't even touch him. But the maneuver caught Jake off guard, throwing him off balance. Dalton gently guided Jake to the side with a mere hand at the shoulder, not hurting, but controlling. Jake stumbled, humiliated by the ease of it. "Martial arts," Leo whispered. Dalton turned to the class. "I taught self-defense to soldiers for 7 years. I've trained in 5 countries. I don't say this to intimidate you. I say this so you'll understand. This classroom is my ground. You are safe here, but only if you want to learn." The room was silent. Jake backed away to his seat, red creeping up his cheeks. He looked at Dalton with a mix of anger and something deeper, respect, perhaps. Dalton straightened his glasses. "I'm not your enemy. I'm not your friend. I am your teacher, And for the next 6 months, I will give you everything I have, if you choose to receive it." Crystal raised her hand. Her voice, usually drenched in sarcasm, was soft. "Why did you come here, knowing what we're like?" Dalton's smile was brief and genuine. "Because someone believed in me when I didn't deserve it. I owe the world that same kindness." For the first time, no one sneered. The rest of the class went by in quiet wonder. Not because they feared him, but because they saw something rare, a person who had nothing to prove, yet proved everything. Weeks passed. Slowly, the classroom transformed. Jake stopped mocking, started asking questions. Crystal stopped chewing gum during class. She started taking notes, and Mr. Dalton never raised his voice, never lost his temper. He taught math like he taught life, with quiet resilience, sharp wit, and unwavering presence. One day, Jake stayed after class. "I was a jerk," he muttered. Dalton nodded. "Yes, but that's not all you are." Jake looked at him. "I want to be better." Dalton didn't smile. He simply said, "Then start now." And he did. Months later, graduation, Jake gave a speech. He stood before the crowd, taller than ever, not in height, but in heart. "People ask me when I changed," he said. "It wasn't a moment. It was a man. It's a man who didn't yell, didn't fight, didn't run. He taught me that real strength isn't about power. It's about peace. Thank you, Mr. Dalton." The audience rose to their feet, and in the back, Mr. Dalton stood quietly, a proud, small smile on his face. Total word count, approximately 1345 words.